All genres are fluid these days, as far as I can work out, isn't it? How we roll these days. Morning, Katie.
Yeah.
You still identifying as a woman?
At this point, I am. That
Okay.
my pronoun is still she, her, but I'm open to that changing at some point.
Fabulous. Did you notice? Morning, Tim. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Just bring me in whenever you like. That's fine. You guys keep going.
How would you compare? Have you seen William getting his jab yet, Tim?
No, I
Oh
haven't
my
seen
gosh, the guns on William.
I knew
Were
you.
you
really?
I knew if I opened up a superficial line of inquiry, you would snap at that. I
Surely
too.
that's what you were going to talk about.
I
surely.
too was impressed with the definition of his arm. I thought, bugger me, because normally you look under the suit and you think, well, there's a limp, pale Brit, don't you?
No, he's working out. He's working out.
Clearly, and to great effect. And the reason I ask you, Tim, as a limp, pale male as well,
Just hey.
have you got
You and
definition in
me,
the arms?
just
Because
wait.
you're the
No.
press-up king.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Any day, any time, you and me face off, press up. I'll send you back weeping, mate.
What
You'll be gone.
what can you do without properly without going nuts about it?
What do you mean in terms of
20?
in terms? Yeah,
40?
No, I do 80. I do 80 a day.
No, I know that. I do 120 a day, but not all at once.
Of course, you don't do them at once.
So, what are you doing? One at a time? What are you doing?
No. Oh boy. So it sounds like someone's coming back a bit hot. Sounds like I've pressed a bit of a button. All right. I think I break them down 2 sets of 40.
Oh, you see, I'd struggle for 40. I don't think I could probably get to 40, but I'd be pretty wiped out.
Are you doing 10 like 12 times throughout the day?
No, I do. What do you mean? I do a punchy, correct 20. Boom, 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 boom. And
You've got to do them properly. Punchy is getting momentum because you're springing off your arms.
Oh no, I
so you're
don't. I
springing
don't
up
do
and
the. I
down.
don't do the ones where you push up and clap. Can you do the ones where you push up and clap, Tim?
No, most certainly not.
Can you do the one arms?
No, what am I, Prince William?
Oh, no, I don't know. It's just that William's doing something there.
I'm a bloke on the floor of my lounge at 6:10 in the morning doing press-ups. That's what I am.
And that's the.
That's impressive.
What was the study, Katie, that said if you do that many press-ups a day, you reduce your heart rate by something ridiculous, your risk of cardiovascular disease by something ridiculous, don't you?
I don't know, but it's impressive.
It's like
yeah,
you
it's good.
Harvard. I don't know. Anyway, what about the housework at your place, Tim?
Yeah, I heard you. I just want to pivot a bit, because I heard a statement from you this week saying, I do more, and your voice actually broke. There was an emotional moment there. And there was. Did you hear that, Katie? I do more.
I hear it every day. He cries about what he does around the house. This is the problem with men. When they do jobs, they have to tell you about them. I unloaded the dishwasher. I folded the washing. Women just do that shit, and they don't have to tell you about it.
Well, yeah, that's true. Actually, I know that when I'm hanging out the washing, or I'll walk past Rachel and I'll go, just done 3 loads.
Exactly.
That is true. I thought your point, Katie, this week was a very, very clever one, actually, that women think about stuff when men don't. So men are task-driven, and if you said, look, if you could help around the house, and we go about our business and we go, look, I've done your washing for you, it's all of that sort of thing. But whereas women think about it and plan through, whereas men don't. And yet I think you'd be more than willing to share what I did this week in terms of planning and solving problems in advance of you even knowing they were problems, and thus presented you with solutions before you'd even raised the issue.
Well,
What is this? Is this a report to the board or a radio segment? What the heck is going on?
it sounds like it. Oh my goodness! Hey, don't you worry. I sang your praises about how useful you are at home and how much you love housework. I did notice the day that I did that editorial on air, that very night you produced magically dinner, and you said, I thought about this and I didn't want you having to worry about it, and I've done this, and that was very impressive. But it did come very hard on the heels of me saying men should think about this stuff for themselves.
Katie, are you saying he cooks dinner? Or
No,
produced?
she didn't say
Of course
that.
not.
She said
Of course not.
he produced dinner.
From a restaurant.
Yeah, okay. So So is it actual work to dial up the local Thai takeaway, and I'll say I'll have a pad Thai and one of those curries that's not too hot,
What
and
I
then
do,
go and pick it up?
what I do is I go down to one of the local eateries, and they afford me the opportunity to sit down and wait. And while I'm waiting, I have myself a long, tall glass of a beverage, and then I transport the meal home. And I couldn't be happier doing so.
That's his excuse. Whenever I say let's call ahead and order, he's like, oh, no. I like to go down, and then I have a nice beer, and I just sit there with my beer until it's ready, and I like the wait. So that's what he likes to do.
But it's all the boxes were ticked, and that's the most important thing. Katie, the budget, just quickly, a budget for the down and out and the bludger, or are we being too mean about it?
No, what I find hilarious about the budget is TVNZ 6 o'clock news, which they've got to stop calling news, and they've got to start calling it the TVNZ 6 o'clock division of the Labour Party. Their political editor announced that for Middle New Zealand, there wasn't anything in it, but a free vaccine, and I almost fell off the sofa laughing because everyone's getting a free vaccine. Of course the vaccine's free. Why wouldn't we get a free vaccine? And by the way, we probably won't even get that till the end of the year. So, I mean, that's laughable.
What I couldn't understand was the media's fascination this week in asking Chris Hipkins whether he got all the money he needed for the vaccine, as though he was going to go, no, actually, Grant told me I couldn't have enough money, and so that's why only half of us... I mean, what else was he going to say? Of course he got the money for the vaccine he needed. It was the weirdest thing going. What did you make of it, Tim?
Yeah, look, I'm quite positive about the child poverty initiatives. I think it's super important. 33,000 kids, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money per family. It's almost 1 million per family. What's interesting is they're going to disperse this over 2 years, so it's probably a bit more of a conservative budget than the left would like. And with child poverty, you find that you grow up poor. You live poor, your crime statistics are high, educational achievement is worse, mental health is worse. I think that's a positive move. I'm glad you asked Grant Robertson about the social insurance, because that's super interesting. There's not that much that we know about it. It's sort of like an unemployment insurance, and there's no costings around it. It's going to be rolled out in 2023. The issue is, and you were touching on this as well, is that it could create a two-tiered system. So those guys in the gig economy, your Uber drivers, sort of the future of work people, they may not be covered by this.
Yeah.
So what you're actually creating is a middle-class welfare system. Do we want welfare to go to people who are already well off? No, we don't. We want to spend it on those who are at the tight end.
My major concern was whether there's choice. See, in ACC, there's no choice. And so I'd opt out, because I don't want to pay a levy, and I'm sure my employer doesn't want to pay a levy, and I'm not getting laid off, and if I was, I don't care. So therefore, I opt out. I've got choice. Whereas if you don't have any choice, what's the point of that? It's like ACC. I've not fallen off this stool for 39 years now, and I've never made an ACC claim in my life, and I'm not going to. And so it's a waste of time and money, but you don't have any choice.
Yeah. Although I would say those shuffling perambulations that you call runs could be a bit...
Where were we with the exercise, Katie? So you don't have to do much is what you're essentially saying.
I'm just a bit surprised to hear you haven't fallen off your stool in that studio yet, because I would have thought with the traction you're getting with your velvet and your suede slip-on loafers that you might be a bit, on that carpet
sparking up a bit and injuring myself.
Yeah.
Anyway, the exercise. So you're saying you don't have to do much, because I'm sort of sick of it. Because I've become more and more obsessed with exercise, and I find myself sort of almost to the point now where I resent it.
Oh, really? I thought you loved your runs and your weights and all that stuff.
No.
You love it.
It's a time sap. What I want is a Jetsons pill. So, you just say, what's my exercise? 5K run, some weights, a sauna, take the pill, and that's the equivalent of it.
Well, that's the new research. The Copenhagen Heart Study, the UK Cambridge University study, and there's another one, and they're all saying a 7-minute brisk walk could beat a 45-minute HIIT class. You hit your CrossFit, your F45, don't worry about it. If you're doing activity, if you're going up and down some stairs, you're hanging some washing, you're weeding the garden, you're giving the dog a brisk walk, that counts as exercise and is as effective in reducing your risk of heart disease as spending an hour at the gym. So we do not need to spend an hour at the gym. It's the best news I've heard all week.
Can I tell you? It's just how you're doing it. So I used to work out at Bally's Fitness in Spanish Harlem, and one day I cast my eyes across the exercycles, and there's a person sitting on the exercycle eating a packet of potato chips. So the problem is that you just,
That's awesome. That's my spirit animal.
you're doing it wrong. Now, what you need to do with your exercising is you maybe pop on a podcast. I'll send you some from the Maxim Institute. Mike gets you up to speed with everything.
There you go. You slip that one in. All right. We'll see how we go. Hey, Warriors tonight, Katie.
What time are they on?
It's a good question. I'm assuming it'll be 8 because it's the Tigers in Sydney. So I'm thinking 8 to 8:15.
Okay. Are you staying up for that?
I don't know.
Depends how much fitness you've done, how awake you are.
Yeah, it's how weighed down I am. Anyway, you have a lovely weekend. We'll catch up with you next week. Appreciate it as always. Tim Wilson, Kate Hawkesby.
It's all about the 80s. The 80s, the best music era ever. Coast 80s. Listen and follow now on iHeartRadio.